Welcome to our final installment, week 4 of the Advent Journey, Spirit of Christ Church fam. Today we're talking about joy. Behold, I bring to you good tidings of great joy that will be for all the people. That's what the angel said at Jesus' first coming. Joy is our portion in Jesus. But this life, we will have troubles. How many of you know we have troubles? I see those hands. But take heart. He has overcome the world. And the world and all its troubles will pass away. But at the end of the day, you know what? We will still have good news of great joy. His name is Jesus. And I know many of you may be facing hard times in your life. At any given time, many of us are. But here's the truth of the matter. Joy is still yours. Jesus is still yours in the hard times, in the challenging times, and at Christmas, especially, I want to remind you of the promise of a very present tense joy that is yours in Jesus. Jesus, during his ministry, quoted, when asked what he was about, what was he here for, quoted Isaiah chapter 61. And you may recognize the beginning of it says, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, because he's called me to proclaim good news for the captive, good release to the prisoners, sight to the blind," all those things. But further on in the passage is what may be another familiar passage to you, but is all inclusive in the ministry of Jesus when he came and when he is in your life today. He said this, further on in Isaiah 61, it says, "To bestow on them, the people of God, a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness." Does this mean we'll never mourn? We'll never despair? No. But our reality of what Christ is giving us, even in the midst of trials, sadness, mourning, and despair, is a permanence of joy, a permanence of praise. He is building us, even in these times, to be oaks, immovable in the joy of God. This is the promise of Jesus. His self-proclaimed ministry to you and me is to grant us the oil of joy. This is the greatest trade-in. This is the greatest trade-in story, the divine exchange as it has been called. We do mourn at times. I'm not ignoring that. I'm not saying to pretend we don't mourn, that there aren't reasons to mourn. We do mourn, and we are blessed when we mourn. Jesus said that too in the Beatitudes, in the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are those who mourn. Why? Because they will be comforted. When we find ourselves mourning, when we are in places of despair, if we will bring our mourning and despair to the Comforter, we will be comforted. So it's not about ignoring the pain. It's bringing the pain to Jesus. It's bringing the despair to Jesus. When we cut him off, when in the middle of our mourning, then we cut ourselves off from the promise of comfort. When we remove him from the equation and sit in our despair and mourning, we lose the opportunity to take upon ourselves the oil of joy and the garment of praise. Because though we may experience weeping, weeping is meant to endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Notice what that says. There's a decided period of time for our mourning seasons, but joy will always come. And it doesn't say that joy will endure for a moment. It says that joy will come. Because when joy comes, when Jesus comes to your life, he doesn't leave. Weeping may come for a season, but joy will always come after. And joy will always be present even in the midst of it. The joy of Jesus endures forever. It goes on and never leaves you. So friends, regardless of what your external circumstances are today, I bring you good news of great joy for all people, including you and me. And his name is Jesus, and he brings you joy. So rejoice. Be glad. Rejoice, and again, I say rejoice, as the Apostle Paul wrote, from chains in a prison cell. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Jesus, Emmanuel, God is with you. Therefore, you always have a reason to rejoice. You always have a reason to praise. You always have a reason to be grateful because you always have Jesus. And you are always so very, very loved by the God who created it all. Rejoice today. Take upon yourself that mantle of praise, that oil of joy that will never leave you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. And live today, this Advent season, and every day after, in the good news of great joy that's for you and me.